time that we move forward to the next item on the agenda. They say that nothing is faster than the speed of light, but I choose to disagree because the future of digital payments in India is turning out to be slightly faster than the speed of light, or so it feels like, with India's digital payments landscape evolving at such speed, transforming how 1 billion people transact day in and day out. First up, please give it up for our respected speaker, Mr. Bipin Preet Singh, founder and CEO of MobiKwik, who brings unparalleled expertise in Fintech, digital payments, and financial inclusion. As also, I would now like to invite our moderator, Mr. Brahm Alreja, founder, Innovative Incentives and Rewards Private Limited, indeed a visionary entrepreneur and marketing strategist with 14 plus years of experience in loyalty programs, consumer engagement, and digital innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Cash 2 Clicks, the future of digital payments, the story of MobiKwik. All yours, sir.
Hello. So I think I have overcome the stage fear, Niharika. My mic is working. So before I even try and introduce Bipinji, which is a very hard thing to do, I have a quick question for the audience. And there is a reward for everybody who tries an attempt to answer it correctly. कितनों को पता है कि 2000 के नोट में चिप लगी हुई थी? But everybody did hear it, right? So let me reverse the entire scenario altogether, or rather, let me not reverse it. I have sitting next to me, for everybody who has traveled all the way to come and see us, Mr. Bipin Preet Singh, first generation entrepreneur, founder and CEO of MobiKwik Payments, who actually has put money into the chip. I'm pleased to say that they are the first one to introduce the central bank digital wallet, which is the e-rupee in India outside banking. May I have a big round of applause for MobiKwik and Bipin Preet ji for putting note into a chip.
Thank you very much, Brahmji. It's a pleasure to be here in the city beautiful. Sat Sri Akal, Namaste everyone. Usually I get invited to events to Delhi, in Delhi or Bangalore or Bombay, but Brahmji invited me to the city beautiful and he said you must come. And I said yes, of course. I have to come and explore the startup ecosystem and the TiE ecosystem in Chandigarh.
So we'll quickly jump into the business in the interest of time, though I want this to keep going on. But we had Bipinji on stage, Mr. Yash Sabu, founder of Ethos Watches, yesterday. He was sharing his journey. And there's one important point that he made was that families stand rock solid behind your business as a startup founder, as an entrepreneur, versus a couple of months ago, Mr. Narayan Murthy, founder of Infosys, said that he didn't want a family stake into his business when he started. You are into MobiKwik as a couple. So how has it been and how is it going around on both, how is it balancing both the scenarios?
Yeah, so I think it's a long answer. So just for everyone to know, I, along with Upasana Taku, who's my co-founder, we run MobiKwik. And just a background, we started MobiKwik way back in 2009. And we took the company, scaled the company, raised multiple rounds of funding, and eventually we did an IPO in the last quarter of 2024. So now we are a listed company. It took us about 15 years to get there, but we scaled the company to more than $100 million of revenue last year and a profitable fintech. We operate in the world of payments, digital credit, distribution, etc. But I am a first generation entrepreneur. And my father actually used to run a shop, and he used to sell wool, which he used to get from Ludhiana. There's a company called Vardhaman and Oswal, where he used to get wool and he used to sell in a town in Odisha called Rourkela. And I used to sit on the shop, on the cash counter when I was very young. But then after that, in 1984, the riots happened. And we actually, as family, we were uprooted. We came to Delhi, and we had a pretty tough time. And 5 of us, I'm the eldest in the family. We used to live in a one-room house. And my father used to say that we've lost everything, but there's only one thing no one can take away from you, which is that if you're smart and if you're educated and if you study, you will do well. And fortunately, I was very good in maths. And I used to score 100 on 100 on maths when I was in grade 6 and grade 7. And that helped me get into IIT. So I got into IIT Delhi. I studied, but still, our economic situation as a family, we were not good at all. And as we were developing, my family expected me to get into a job and start earning. So my first job was at a company called Intel. It's an MNC, American MNC, where I used to design chips. And then I worked it was in Bangalore. And then I worked at NVIDIA. I'm sure you've all heard of NVIDIA now. It's the AI, making AI GPUs. So when I told my family, especially my mom, that I am going to give up my job and start a company. And we had no capital, right? I was working for 6-7 years. I had some 2-3 lakhs of provident fund. And I think unfortunately, the ecosystem of angel ecosystem was not there at that time. And so literally it was the money that I had, and I was in two minds whether to start or not start or whether to move ahead. And it is then I met Upasana. And she had come back from US after working at PayPal. She went to Stanford, worked at PayPal, but she wanted to give back to the country, and she came back. And then we met, we became friends, and then she told me that, this is one life. And we were in our late 20s, both of us. So jo karna hai, wahi karna hai. Whatever you have to do, you have to do it now. So with that spirit, we jumped into it, both of us. We were, of course, only friends that time, started dating, not yet married. But we said, okay, we were living together, and we put a computer on our dining table. And we said, let's start working. Because that is the power of technology, that is the power of software. And that's how MobiKwik was born. And the first 5 people of MobiKwik, they used to work on that table in a 3-bedroom apartment in Dwarka. And of course, from there on, there were lots of ups and downs. And the question that you've asked is about how to work as a couple. I don't think I would have even started if it was not for Upasana.
Wonderful. So for all the wannabe entrepreneurs out there and those who are thinking that it is tough, yes, it is tough, but is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And how big? This big. There is no less of what you can actually achieve today. And if minus the ecosystem that was available then versus now, if you have the right intent, I think it's great for it. Before we move further, again back to the audience, how many of you are actually aware of the e-rupee that RBI has initiated? Anybody? Cool, so not a lot of them. So maybe that's something that we would take your time to enlighten the audience of what e-rupee is, how is it different from UPI, and what is that made you believe and you made the first move outside any regular bank which would have actually done it, which is one of things that I personally feel proud knowing you, that's such a great thing to do, and I would really want you to brief the audience on a bit on the digital currency.
So thank you. So I'll come to e-rupee in a moment, but I want to tell a little bit about MobiKwik. So MobiKwik was born as a wallet. We started as a mobile wallet even before the term Fintech was there. People call us Fintech. That's the broader term. But when we started MobiKwik, there was no Fintech. Fintech is combined of two terms, finance and technology. We are a technology company. What we do is we make finance easy, accessible, cheaper via technology. So of course we started as a wallet. We have more than 150 million people in India who use MobiKwik as a wallet. We also have UPI. But you know, the interesting thing about technology world is, and the world that we live in, you know, is everything is getting upgraded all the time. Everything is getting innovated all the time. So while UPI you have used, wallet you have used, but the next innovation that's coming is CBDC, which is centrally backed digital currency. A lot of you might have heard of things like Bitcoin, for example, or Ethereum, or any of the cryptocurrencies. Now these are basically nothing but currencies which are based on a blockchain. In India, you know, the establishment and the government have decided that they don't want to support these decentralized currencies. Rather, India will build its own currency, which is e-rupee. So in that sense, e-rupee is like Bitcoin, but it is centralized. It is issued by the Reserve Bank of India, and one e-rupee is same as 1 rupee of cash. 5 rupees, e-rupees is same as 5 rupees of cash. Now you may ask, if UPI is there, why do I need it? Why do I need digital rupee? I think UPI still has some constraints. In UPI, what happens is you are transferring money from bank account to a bank account, or a wallet to a wallet. Still, sometimes transactions may fail. And of course, your banker is always watching, you know, what transactions you are doing. That is why, even though after so many years of demonetization and so much success of digital payments, in India the usage of cash is still very, very high. And all of you still use cash, I know that. And so, e-rupee is nothing but digital version of that cash, which has been created by the Reserve Bank, and they have chosen few technology companies to partner, so that on the MobiKwik app, you can go and you can put 5 rupees or 500 rupees or 5,000 rupees of e-rupee in your wallet, instead of keeping 5,000 rupees of cash in your physical wallet. And you can transfer it to anyone just like you transfer cash. It's instant. And the second big advantage is anonymous. For example, if I give you cash, you know, nobody knows, the world doesn't know I gave you cash. So e-rupee has the same advantages. It is anonymous, it is instant. So in that sense, it is superior, because actually it removes the dependency of banks. So you don't need to keep money in a bank. Just like cash, you put it in the blanket, that cash now you can keep in your phone and not with any bank. So it's a new innovation. It will take time to adopt, but I think the kind of opportunities it has, it's really immense.
So you've heard it, non-traceable. Okay. Bipinji, you have been one of few fintech companies, those who went public recently. First of all, congratulations for that. One thing that a lot of audience would not know, and even I had to pick this up after a lot of research that I did, how would the audience feel if I told you that most of the times when there is a public offering comes in, you hear, इसने इतने पैसे बना लिए, उसने उतने पैसे बना लिए, उसने ये share download किया, उसने offload किया, whatever the technical terms is. I am really pleased to say that when MobiKwik went public, the founders didn't sell a share, and nor did any of the current investors sell a share, which speaks of the sheer confidence everybody had in them. Also more, they set a trend which was unheard of when going public. How? मतलब कैसे? ये क्या किया आपने?
So I think, you know, there is a misconception that when you are doing IPO or going to the public, वो कहते हैं ना आप शेयर चिपका रहे हो मार्केट में. That's not the way we think or we believe about MobiKwik. Many people think of IPO as the end. You start a company, you raise funding, you scale the company, then you do IPO. What we believed is IPO is a milestone. It's of course a very critical milestone, but MobiKwik has to go very, very long. And I along with Upasna, generally in the startup world, founders own very little in the company. And so I and Upasna, even before we did the IPO, we own 1/3 of the company, which is about 34-35%. Usually, that is not the case for companies which have raised 100, 150 million, $200 million of cash. So our vision always was that MobiKwik has to scale maybe 10x or 50x from where it is. So why should I sell my shares? Because I expect my share to be much more valuable. And that's a thought that was shared with our shareholders also, all the investors. We have very high quality shareholders. We have the likes of Peak 15, which was Sequoia. We have Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, American Express, Cisco, you name it. All of them, Bajaj Finance. They're all our shareholders. And not one of them sold a single share in the IPO. So I think the belief is that India's fintech opportunity, India's opportunity in general for business, new business, is really, really huge. So we went to the market to raise capital. So we raised about close to 600 crores, which went into the company, and the company is going to use it to scale the business.
Since you went public, like I was personally very closely following a lot of road shows, a lot of informations that were floating around it, right? And at TiE and TiECON, we have been promoting the idea of the concept of idea to IPO, right? Now that you're here, in terms of regulations and in terms of how did it actually happen, is it as rosy as it looks, or is it still the same when it comes to cutting those red tapes?
In terms of IPO, there is a joke, going on. Mr. Jaspal Bhatti, late Mr. Jaspal Bhatti had in his show. I don't know if all of you remember that PP water ball joke. A lot of people think that is what IPO is, but really it is not that. IPO is, or going public is, your shares are going to be owned by the public. It's very simple. And so, for that to happen, your company has to have certain standards. It needs to have governance. It needs to have proper audits, proper accounting system in place, proper reporting. And ideally, it should also be profitable. But having said that, many people think that you have to make it a very big company before you can go public. That is not the case. That is not the case. In India now, there is also a small medium exchange IPO, SME IPO, where there was a in Delhi there was a dealer of Yamaha who went public, if you remember, and they raised a bunch of money. Now people think of that as a joke, but really, actually, it's not the case. Even if your scale of your company is small, going public may have many advantages, and the advantages is public owns your stock, raising money becomes easy, getting debt becomes easy, and in general you earn respect and credibility. I can tell you, it's been only not even 3 months that we are public, and even within these 3 months, now people have a certain newfound respect for MobiKwik. We were doing well, we were the same business, but now we are seen in a different light because we have crossed a very important threshold. So I think that more and more companies, at least in India, should go public in India. Because if in India, if you see, I don't know how many of them invest in stock markets, almost everyone, right? Almost all of you also own mutual funds. Where is that money going? That money is going to to buy the shares of the companies which are listed in India. How many shares of big companies you are going to buy? Ultimately, new companies will come, and that is going to move the economy forward. So I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to, I would say, participate and for the next 20 years to grow India and create companies which can go public.
Great. When we talk about fintech, there is a lot like, I believe we've just started. There's nothing, we see UPI transactions soaring all in, day out, the GST collections happening, but I think there's a long way we have to go into fintech. As MobiKwik and as a leader in fintech, where do you see that in the next 5 years is what fintech is heading to when it comes to the country? That's one, and the supplementary to it, or in the continuing to it would be a lot of tier 2, tier 3 remote villages are still not that deeply rooted into the fintech liberalization that is happening. How, as MobiKwik, do you plan to make them financial literate so that they can manage their entire money from spend to borrow to lend? Like, what is MobiKwik's vision to that part of it?
Yeah, a great question, Ramji. So, see, fintech is meant to make finance equally accessible to everyone. So the term that we use in finance is called financial inclusion. Everybody in this room, we have everything. We have bank account, we have smartphone, we use UPI. If we need a loan, we go to the bank will give us a loan. If we want to invest, we know how to invest, where to invest. Some advisor is going to call us, sir, Ramji, idhar paise dal do. Or put this, do this or do that. But this is not India. The real India is much beyond this, much beyond Chandigarh, much beyond Gurgaon. They live in small towns and villages. They do small business. They have incomes which are maybe around 1 lakh or even lower than 1 lakh per month, 30 to 40,000. In a city like Gurgaon, I see people who work for us, like a driver or a maid, or people like them. Their incomes are now 25-30,000 rupees per month, easily. Now, they have now some money, but they don't have the access. They may be using digital payments, but if they need money, nobody gives them credit card, nobody gives them a loan. If they have to invest, they don't know. Somebody will come and cheat them कि यहाँ पैसे लगा दो, ये chit fund scheme में, put some money here. So people get duped. So there is a big opportunity in India beyond the top cities, metros, to take financial literacy and access to financial products. Everyone in India should be able to use digital payments, should be able to invest, even small amounts, 100 rupees. For example, all of you also own gold, I am sure. Right? How do you own gold? You go to your favorite jeweler and you tell him कि यार मेरे को इतना gold खरीदना है, whatever is the amount. And you tell him, okay, tell me on the best rate and buy. Imagine a cab driver or a food delivery rider in a big city like Bangalore or Hyderabad or in Gurgaon. They make 1,000 rupees per day. They cannot save money to buy gold, but they want to own gold. He wants to buy a gift for his wife. So the way they can do it is they come on MobiKwik app. We have something called digital gold. So you can buy gold for as low as 10 rupees or 100 rupees, which is in digital form. And the price of gold appreciates, like it has. So you start saving money. Similarly, you need money. You can apply for a loan on MobiKwik app. You can get as low as 20,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees loan instantly. So this opportunity to the masses of India is a very, very big opportunity. MobiKwik is playing across the board in digital credit, in digital investments, and of course in digital payments.
Great. So with all those heavy things that you're doing, let's lighten it up a bit. Comes to my favorite part, rapid fire, and I can only assure you the last two ones have a lot of common between us. Back in 2009, if you were to go, what would you do differently if you were to recreate MobiKwik?
I would get out of my home and talk to more people and find out people like you to talk to learn more about the real world. And the reason I'm saying this, because see, I'm an engineer. Almost all engineers are all introverts. we are just focused on studying and computers. We don't get out. At least that's how I was. So I would say, that's one thing I would definitely do differently.
Okay, you cannot include Upasana ji into it, but then one decision that changed the course of MobiKwik.
I think the decision was pretty early on. Though we say that we are co-founders, I actually started MobiKwik. Upasana kept pushing me, ki kar lo, kept supporting me. And for the first 6 months, she was not part of MobiKwik, but she was doing all the work. And then one day, I told her, "You are doing everything. Why don't you join and be part of the journey?" So, and we've seen what has happened.
I could see that coming, but then I still have to ask. One fintech trend that you're most excited about in the next 5 years, given the current fintech trends that we have seen?
I'm very excited about CBDC, as I already said, e-rupee, and I think it can become as big as UPI. And of course, UPI has become so big. And I think that's one thing which I'm very excited about. And the other trend which I see is that, I hope the regulations in this country around finance, they also become more easier because they have made life a little difficult for a lot of companies and a lot of people. So I hope that also changes.
UPI versus wallets?
Well, we started as a wallet, so we support both, but I have a soft corner towards wallet, and the reason for that is that, if you're doing your everyday payments, आप 5 रुपए की चाय या 10 रुपए का, pakoda, why do you want to do that from your bank account when you can do that from your wallet? So wallet is a much better solution, safer solution for all small transactions compared to UPI.
Is cashless digital India even practical?
So, if you walk in the corridors of RBI, the regulator, they don't talk about cashless, they talk about less cash. And there is a difference. We want to reduce cash, but we can never say get rid of cash.
One startup outside fintech you wish you had invested early?
Oh, there's many. I mean,
One.
There's many. See, there's a company which is listed in India. It's a company called Delivery. I don't know if you know. It's a logistics company, India's largest logistics company. When I was working from our office, the people who started Delivery, they came to our office asking for guidance and help.
Great. What fintech idea we are not talking about? Idea, product, vision, version, however you want to put it.
I think there are many. I mean, there's, but specifically, if I say one vision is making voice-based products for the market. Everything is through app. It's very difficult for many people who don't understand English and cannot understand how to type. So if somebody wants to think of doing something for voice, and now with AI, which is there, voice, AI and fintech, it's a deadly combination.
One superpower you wish you had as a founder?
Sorry, could you repeat?
One superpower you wish you had as a founder?
I am not good in sales. A very, very poor salesman. So I wish I could improve on that.
Brings me to my most two interesting facts, two questions that I've been waiting to ask. Just to bring to everybody's notice, Bipin Preet is also an avid rider. I also ride bikes. So this is one-on-one. How many applications did you have to make to your wife to let you have one?
So I had to spend 1 year to convince my wife, my mother-in-law, and my son, who's 7 years old at the time, to give me consent to buy a bike.
One route that you would want to do on a Ducati?
I have not done the route that everybody wants to do, which is Leh Ladakh, so you have to take me there someday.
MobiKwik in one word.
Well, we are relentless and we make finance possible.
With that brings me an end to my session. We'll have one quick question from the audience quickly. Anybody, please. I have a question. Please.
Bipin, you mentioned about the cashless or the e-money. How is that going to change the black money? I mean, isn't that promoting black money in the disguise of policies?
So when you have a physical note, that physical note has a serial number, right? And by that serial number, it is traceable because it's issued by RBI. Now the same thing is going to happen with the digital rupee. Ultimately, the only difference is it's issued by RBI, not kept by your bank. It's on a blockchain. It is not impossible to trace, but no banker, no income tax official, none of those people can get access to it. So it's a trade-off.
With that, we come to end of this session, which could have kept going all day. From everybody at TiE, thank you so much for coming. May we have a big round of applause.
Thank you everyone, and to listen patiently. Thank you.
Need to do something about this. The moment I start speaking, the mic never switches on, but we'll figure that out later. Thank you so much for that wonderful and lovely session, and I do agree with you, it should have gone on, but in the interest of time, we just can't. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Bipin Preet Singh, founder and CEO, MobiKwik, and Mr. Brahm Alreja, founder, Innovative Incentives and Rewards Private Limited. Could I make a small request to Mr. Jaswinder Singh, Tech Prastish Software Solutions, and Mr. Sumit Singh, B-Solver Technologies, to come up and felicitate our respective panel. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bipin Preet Singh, founder and CEO, MobiKwik. And Mr. Brahm Alreja, founder, Innovative Incentives and Rewards Private Limited. You can go on and applaud, I won't mind. Also, before we can let them off the dais, we have a little video to show you. Can we have the video, please?